Peace, Keme here. Just up late night doing what I do. Relationship and love advisory. Uh, February 14th, y'all, is a hard day for some people. And, ooh, I'm just gonna tell you like this right here. I honestly don't think people should get caught up in this holiday. And the reason being is because it causes so much emotional confusion. And there are a lot of hurt people out here tonight. Just off of phone calls or guys who claim to commit to a relationship and their lover is on the phone with me like, is it over? Like, is my relationship over? How does this guy really feel about me? And they're literally basing it around a freaking holiday of guys who may have cheated on their wives, and they took this day to make up for infidelity. Like, get your life. I wouldn't necessarily call it a Valentine's Day, but every day of your life should be a day to show each other divine love, to open up communication with each other, to just be Allah or Allah made manifest within your own flesh. I haven't done a Valentine's thing in like 15 years. And it doesn't serve a purpose, because if you want your man to cater to you, it should be like any day of the week, any day out of the year. As a Moorish American, we do Mobitus Day. I'm not sure if a lot of other people do it, but we do Mobitus Day, where the guy caters to his woman for a whole day out of the week. And it was implemented by Timothy Dingle Ill to uplift his woman. A man can't raise himself up until he raise his woman up, his sister woman. Love her, cherish her. She is divine. She is a precious gift. And she should never be abused on a psychological level, on a physical level, on an emotional level. Boy, if we knew what we were doing to each other in this era of time, we would stop, cease, and desist the foolishness. It's a hard thing to face when you deal with women who go through some form of abuse, or who's dealing in, like a crazy relationship or things of that nature. And, it's my job to soothe the hearts of men and women. One of my clients, I'm going to keep her anonymous, but she did give me permission to tell her story, that she was dealing with this guy, and he's very insecure. And she didn't know that he was insecure, but I gave her all the signs to an insecure guy, and all of his traits. And here it is, the day before Valentine's, and the guy just straight up humiliated her in front of all their friends. And she was like, I don't know, I don't understand. Like, this guy said he loves me, he wants to be with me, and then the next minute he's disrespecting me in front of everybody. He's accusing me of things I'm not doing, and and I'm like, how often did this happen? She was like, well, some minute One minute he's hot, and the next minute he's cold. And I'm like, well, that's what insecure guys do. And because they feel intimidated on a certain level, they will try to dehumanize you and make you feel as low as they are. I don't want to touch the topic too much of insecure people because, the thought of them alone is just draining on so many levels. But I do want to say this much, that when you realize a person is jealous or insecure or abusive, it's like, hey, know your worth and get the hell away from them ASAP. Because you can't change anybody but yourself. You can only change the people you're around. You can't change the people that you encounter in your life, because you already have enough working on yourself. So don't try to change anybody. Just work on you. And if that person is not willing to work on themselves, then they need to exit stage left, because you have better things to do. As women, you want to upstage your requirement of yourself. What do you as a queen value about you is the first thing that you should consider before entering a relationship with anybody. One of the hardest things that my clients face is the fear of being alone. And if you can't get to know you, if you can't date you, if you can't overstand and love the person or listen to the first one that has something to say about you, which is yourself, then you're not ready for a relationship. I know it's hard for some people to be alone, but if you're never alone with yourself, how are you supposed to get to know who you are as an individual? To study ourselves is a lifetime job, and we have to find out what's going on with us and why are we attracting certain type of people around us, or certain energies around us that's just not beneficial to us. Everything outside of self, is pretty much a reflection of who we are inside. So if we're meeting abusive men, we have to ask ourselves, am I thirsty for a relationship? Am I too clingy? Things of that nature. Consider it. You don't want to be an insecure person either, because if you're the insecure person in a relationship, I'm just keeping it 100 with you, boo. You're going to run that person off, especially if they're not insecure with themselves. Everybody has a level of insecurity, but when it's extreme and it comes to draining other people's energy because you're looking for somebody else to validate you, then it will be like relationship suckfest 99. Also, I would like to talk about being interdependent, and the understanding of interdependent is not like independent. We always screaming independent women this, independent women that. You can be independent all you want to when you're by yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're in a relationship, and I'm talking to the brothers too, you want to be interdependent. Because interdependent is when you both are giving of yourselves equally. I don't care if you call it 50-50. I don't care if you call it all the way 100. But when you're both putting energy into the relationship to uplift each other, is an interdependent relationship. When you two are working together to manage your income, your bills, and your household, when you're working together to manage the lifestyle of your children and yourselves, that's an interdependent relationship. Now, let me give you the offset of what an interdependent relationship is not. When you're dealing with a grown-ass man who wants you to take care of him, and he's not helping you foot a bill, He may be living off your public housing, or your regular housing. It don't matter. And you're doing all the work in a relationship, and you feel like you're in a relationship by yourself. You need to bounce, because it's not about you being independent. Like, you shouldn't be independent in a relationship. You should be interdependent in a relationship where you both are giving. Now, if he may be down on his luck, or whatever you want to call it, and he has a dream, support his dream as long as it's obtainable. But you don't have to take care of no grown man, because you may have already had children of your own, and you're just not trying to raise nobody else's other than your own, or probably some stepchildren or something. If you have a guy where you two meet in the middle and you're on the same page, that's brilliant. Always make sure that you support each other, and always keep a flow of communication open, because that's the foundation of your relationship. Instead of, being emotional with communicating with each other, always look for a resolution instead of always focusing on the problem, because the problem is always clear and apparent. This is the problem right here. Boom. Okay, we already recognize that. Now, what is the solution? But you can't develop a solution with your mate when you're always yelling at them. As women, we need to understand that our voice alone carries a strong vibration that can kill him as well as ourselves, because when you're releasing so much breath, you're also releasing a lot of life force energy. And when we're releasing life force energy, we're depleting ourselves, we're aging ourselves, we're stressing and killing ourselves. So we need to take account of that when we're highly emotional with our mates, as well as with the men. If you are the type of brother that does not support your woman on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, or any kind of level, you need to know that the cause to the effect to that cause would be her acting out of character. I'm talking about Miss Cray all day. If a woman is giving all of herself and she's not getting anything in return, don't call her a bitch. Don't call out her name. Don't disrespect or dehumanize her. Because you're only getting what you're putting out for it to come back to you. I know a lot of sisters that are very good women to their men, and they're not necessarily crazy until they're put in a position to be crazy, when they are taking care of all the bills by themselves, they're managing the children by themselves. And why would she be managing the children by herself if you're the manager? Look up the definition of husband. Oh, and speaking of husbands, I have to say this much to my sisters. Stop giving husband privileges to boyfriends. If a man has not obligated himself to you, he is not your husband. He is just your boyfriend. Somebody that you screwing, somebody that you shacking up with. Require him to obligate to you, or you're just going to be his boo thing. Like, he needs to be man enough to make you his wife. And being made a wife is not necessarily all about going to the courts and establishing a business contract between you, him, and the state. Being in an obligation is a relationship or a contract between you, your creator, and your mate. And it's a big difference. Because a marriage is a business, an obligation is a spiritual responsibility between two bodies made one flesh, be it one flesh through that child or one flesh through you and him. You definitely, coming into a relationship, want to get to know a person and not jump from skip courtship and go straight to the altar. You definitely want to know this person's highs and lows and if you can deal with them or not. You definitely want to feel a person's energy out to make sure that they are your ideal mate. And one of the ways that we can do that is to, when looking for a mate, is to write down the qualities of that person, that ideal mate, and attract them to you, because like minds attract. And what you think about, you bring about. Your most dominant thoughts become a part of your life experience. So that is definitely to be considered when looking for a soulmate. Um, Instead of just picking any random Joe Blow that look good or got rims or got a fat ass or whatever, learn how to become quality so that you can attract quality. If you attract garbage, look at yourself and see if you develop some garbage like qualities. You know, we have to learn how to admit our own ratchetness sometimes, because we won't look at ourselves, but we are quick to look at everybody else and their imperfections without realizing or working on our own. uh, I think some of the methods that I've named here would prevent a lot of pitfalls in attracting people that we want in our lives, and it would definitely allow us, if we're evaluating ourselves and if we're examining with care and fix not suddenly on the present choice that we make in our lives when it comes to picking a mate, I think that we may avoid a couple of pitfalls. We definitely would avoid pitfalls in our lives, and it's okay to see our relationships or our life experiences as lessons, because they're all lessons. You may go through certain things over and over again in your life, and it's like, oh, damn, why I keep seeming like I'm just repeating things in my life? And it's because you are repeating things in your life because you haven't learned from a certain situation. And until we learn from certain situations in our lives, the reality is we're just going to repeat them. So if you go through a relationship that you perceive as bad, then you have to look at yourself. Then you look at the partner and see where did you go wrong in your relationship before you proceed forth with another one. Always make sure to forever work on yourself. And always strive to be your higher self. Always strive to be the love thought made manifest on the plane of things made manifest. Um, That's all I have for now. But you can check me out on Facebook, Keme the Moorish Candace, or you can check me out on Instagram, More Bite 7. I am Heaven. And I ask that you not get caught up in this Valentine dogma. Do not wait around for anybody to validate you before you validate yourself and love yourself and date yourself. And let all be well in your life with peace, love, and prosperity. And have a good night. Peace.